Success thrives in silence, not because it's some big secret, but because it needs time and space to grow. Think of it like a seed buried in the ground. It doesn't shout to the world. It just quietly does its thing until one day it shoots up tall and strong for everyone to see. But here's the thing. How many of us can resist telling everyone what we're up to, what we're planning, how we're going to get there, and why it's all going to work out? It's tempting, right? Maybe we just want some recognition or approval. Maybe it's the excitement of saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm on my way." But here's the truth. Success doesn't need all that noise. It grows best in the quiet moments of focus and dedication. The more you talk about your plans, the less energy you have to actually make them happen. It's wild, isn't it? The more you share, the more momentum you lose. People with big dreams and amazing ideas sometimes talk themselves right out of doing them, just by sharing too much too soon. They let the doubt, criticism, and distractions from others snuff out their fire. So today, I want to share a simple idea. Keep your plans close to your chest. Not because you're hiding anything, but because it's smarter that way. Focus on doing, not talking. Value action over words, results over recognition, because at the end of the day, it's not what you say you're going to do that matters, it's what you actually get done. There is great wisdom in silence, particularly when it comes to the seeds of our intentions. In Buddhist thought, the power of intention, sankalpa, is subtle yet profound. The moment we speak our aspirations aloud, we release some of the energy that nourishes them. Like water leaking from a vessel once shared, the fire that fuels our actions can begin to dissipate. It is often more powerful to hold our intentions quietly within, nurturing them in the calmness of our own minds, rather than revealing them prematurely to the world. Consider this. When we voice our goals, we sometimes feel a rush of validation as others acknowledge our aspirations with smiles and praise. This momentary approval can feel satisfying, yet it may also deceive the mind. We may come to believe we've already taken action simply by stating our intentions. In Buddhist terms, this is like a mirage, an illusion that distracts us from the true path of practice. The act of sharing can cool the heat of our resolve, dulling the urgency that once drove us forward. And so, the dream we once held so clearly in our minds begins to fade, losing its vitality as we slip into the comfort of imaginary accomplishment. This is how the dream may wither before it's even begun. Some might argue that sharing our plans keeps us accountable, but in the teachings of the Buddha, true accountability arises not from external applause, but from an inner commitment to right effort and mindfulness. Not all who listen to your plans will understand them. Some may harbor doubt, and their skepticism, even unspoken, can take root in the fertile soil of your mind. If we are not vigilant, this doubt can become a shadow, clouding our clarity and weakening our resolve. This is not to say that one should never share their intentions. Rather, in the spirit of wisdom and discernment, it's important to choose wisely with whom we share. Like a tender plant needing protection from harsh winds, our ideas require care in their early stages. Share only with those who will nurture them, not those who may trample them with skepticism or criticism. Seek the guidance of those who walk the path with kindness and understanding. Yet even then, be mindful of how much you reveal. Allow the seeds of your vision to grow strong before you expose them to the world. Here's something worth considering: the power of surprise. In Buddhist teachings, we often talk about the importance of presence and mindfulness, of staying grounded in the moment and letting our actions speak for themselves. There's real strength in doing the unexpected, in letting the results of your work unfold naturally, without the need for constant explanation. Imagine this. You've been quietly working on something, maybe a project, a goal, or a dream, for months, even years. You haven't made a big deal about it, haven't told anyone outside your trusted circle. Then, one day, you reveal it to the world. A finished product, a goal reached, a vision made real. The impact is far greater than if you'd been talking about it the whole time. When your success comes from deep, mindful effort, it feels like a gift to the world, and people are in awe of what you've created. It's the kind of impact that doesn't need words to back it up. As the Buddha taught, true action speaks more powerfully than anything we can say. Take the story of a young man who was eager to start his own business. Full of ideas, he couldn't wait to tell everyone about his plans. At every turn he spoke of how successful he was going to be, how much his life was about to change. People listened at first, but as months went by and no action followed his words, doubt crept in. The more he talked, the less anyone believed in him, and eventually he stopped believing in himself. Now, compare that to another man, a farmer who had a vision to transform his small family farm into something bigger, something thriving. But instead of talking about it, he simply got to work. He studied, read, experimented, and quietly applied his knowledge. He didn't announce his plans, he let his actions do the talking. And when harvest time came, his crops were so abundant and of such high quality that everyone was amazed. When asked how he did it, he simply smiled and said, "By working when no one was watching." There's a lesson in that. When you talk less, you create more space for action. When you seek less validation from others, your confidence grows from within. And when you keep your plans to yourself until the right moment, you maintain control over your own story. This isn't about secrecy, but about strategy. It's about knowing that your dreams are sacred and worth protecting. It's about trusting that the work you do, the mindfulness you apply, will speak louder than any words ever could. How many times have you shared a goal with someone only to feel your energy slip away afterward? How often have the opinions of others veered you off your path? These are valuable questions because they highlight how much power we give away when we speak too soon. But the good news is, you can take that power back. You can focus on your actions, protect your dreams, and let your success rise from your efforts, not from the words you share with others. The world is full of distractions, isn't it? So many voices, opinions, and advice, often unasked for, pulling us in all directions. When you start sharing your dreams too freely, you invite this noise into your life. You open the door to criticism, doubt, and even envy, forces that, if you're not mindful, can easily derail your path. Think about it. When you share your big idea with others, how often do you receive pure encouragement and support? Sometimes, sure. But more often, people respond with caution or skepticism. They might say, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or, "That sounds risky." Or even, "I knew someone who tried that and failed." These comments may seem small, but they can plant seeds of doubt. And doubt is a powerful force. In Buddhism, we speak of Mara, the inner demons that arise to obstruct us, and doubt is one of the trickiest Mara, capable of choking the roots of your aspirations, before they can even take root. But it's not just the doubters we need to be mindful of. There's also the envy that can arise in others. People who resent your ambition because it brings up their own unfulfilled desires. Their negativity may not be spoken aloud, but it can still drain your energy and pull you away from your path. And then there are the well-meaning advisors, those who want to help, but whose suggestions pull you in too many different directions, leaving you scattered and uncertain. In the end, all this external noise can cloud your clarity and disturb your focus. This is why discretion, keeping your intentions to yourself, becomes a form of protection. When you keep your plans within, you create a quiet space where they can grow undisturbed. It's like tending a garden in silence, creating a protected environment where your ideas can take root and flourish without being trampled by external influences. The work you do in silence is like a secret practice, sadhana, where you quietly nurture your intentions until they are strong enough to face the world. Momentum is another vital thing to protect. In Buddhist thought, momentum is like the flow of the river, constant and powerful, created by sustained action over time. The key is to act in silence, without feeling the need to explain yourself at every turn. Every small step you take builds upon the next, and before you know it, you've made great strides. But when you start talking too much about your plans, you disrupt that flow. You shift from action to words, from doing to justifying, and every moment spent explaining is a moment you're not moving forward. It's like trying to row a boat while constantly stopping to explain the direction you're going. You lose momentum, and worse, you lose the clarity of purpose that comes from staying in motion. Here's another story that reflects the power of momentum and the wisdom of discretion. There was a man who had a deep, quiet wish to write a book. It was a lifelong dream, and he was committed to making it a reality. But instead of speaking his intentions to the world, he set a simple daily goal for himself: 300 words a day, every day, until the book was finished. He didn't tell anyone about his plan, not even his closest friends. He just showed up day after day, quietly working in solitude. Months later, when he finally shared his work with a small circle of trusted friends, their reaction was one of pure admiration. They were not only impressed by the quality of the book, but by the fact that he had worked in silence, without seeking validation or attention. When the book was published, it was a success, not because of grand announcements, but because the work itself spoke volumes. Now contrast this with another man equally passionate about writing. Instead of diving into his work, he spent months talking about his plans. He'd call people, share his outlines, and ask for advice on every detail. The more he talked, the less he wrote. Eventually, his project fizzled out. Why? Because he spent all his energy seeking approval instead of building momentum. There's a profound lesson in these two stories. Action builds confidence, while too much talk breeds hesitation. In Buddhist teachings, we talk about the importance of mindfulness and right effort. When you take consistent, mindful action, no matter how small, you build momentum. Each step becomes an affirmation of your capability, an act of trust in your path. But when you're caught up in words, in seeking validation, you remain trapped in the realm of what could be, without ever crossing into what is. Some people worry that keeping their plans private makes them seem aloof or distant. But in truth, discretion isn't about shutting others out. It's about preserving your focus, about recognizing that your dreams are precious and that not everyone is ready to witness your journey. Think of it this way. When you plant a garden, you don't invite people to walk through the soil before the seeds have sprouted. You protect the ground, you water it with care, and you wait for the first shoots to emerge. Only then do you share the beauty of what you've nurtured. This same principle applies to your goals. By keeping them private, you're not being secretive. You're being mindful, giving yourself the space to grow, learn, and adapt, free from the weight of external expectations. When the time comes to share your success, it will carry more meaning because it will be backed by real results, the fruit of your steady, quiet effort. So, I encourage you to try this. The next time you set a goal, resist the urge to announce it to the world. Instead, channel that energy into action. Write it down, create a plan, and take the first step quietly, deliberately, and with full focus. In Buddhism, we speak of right speech, the practice of speaking with intention, clarity, and purpose. The goal isn't to impress others with your intentions, but to impress yourself with your progress. There's something deeply liberating about moving in silence. It frees you from the burden of others' expectations and allows you to act from a place of inner peace and purpose. When you announce your plans to the world, you place yourself in a spotlight. Suddenly, people are watching, waiting, maybe even judging. This pressure can be suffocating, especially when your project is still in its delicate stages, uncertain and fluid. Success is rarely a straight line. It's often a path of trial and error, of stepping forward and stumbling back. When you're under the public's gaze, each setback can feel like a failure, each delay a cause for criticism. But when you keep your plans private, you give yourself the freedom to fail without the weight of others' opinions. Discretion is a gift you give to yourself, a space where you can learn, adapt, and grow, free from external distractions. And here's the most beautiful part. When you're not seeking approval, you begin to reconnect with your own instincts. You start to trust yourself more deeply, relying on your own judgment rather than the voices of others. I understand the question on your mind. Isn't feedback important? Don't I need others' input to improve my ideas? Yes, feedback can be valuable, but like all things, it must come in its proper time and from the right sources. As the Buddha teaches in the Dhammapada, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. In the same way, the right feedback at the right time can help you grow, but seeking it too early or from those not aligned with your vision can lead to confusion and distraction. Early in your journey, when your vision is still forming, it's wise to turn inward and focus on the work itself. Once you've built something solid, then it's time to invite guidance from those you trust and respect. Consider two stories. One is about a man who had a remarkable ability to see opportunities where others saw obstacles. His mind was sharp and he could spot potential like few others. But he made one critical error. He couldn't stop talking about his ideas. Every time a new concept would arise, he'd rush to share it with anyone willing to listen. More often than not, someone else would act on his ideas before he had the chance to. By revealing his thoughts prematurely, he gave away his power. Contrast this with another businessman, quiet, humble, and unassuming. This man rarely spoke about his plans, While others busied themselves with talk, he focused on the work. He executed with precision and consistency. When he finally revealed his creations, they were not only impressive, but perfectly crafted. His work spoke volumes, not his words. This is the key teaching of the Buddha. Action is the path to liberation. It is your deeds, not your declarations, that make a lasting impact. This brings us to a profound truth. Results are your true advertisement. When you build something meaningful, the world will notice. No need to speak of it. As the Buddha said, you can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself, and that person is not to be found anywhere. The same principle applies here. True results come from love and dedication to your own work, without needing to seek approval from others. Consider your actions as ripples in water. When you act with intention, your deeds send waves far beyond what words could ever reach. Yet, there is another reason to keep your plans to yourself. A reason rooted in the power of focus. When you share your intentions too soon, you invite distractions. People will offer suggestions, ask questions, and give their opinions. Each moment spent answering them takes away from your energy, and the original clarity of your vision can become clouded. In Buddhist practice, mindfulness is key. The Buddha said, "Mindfulness is the path to the deathless. Forgetfulness is the path to death." Focus is an invaluable resource. It is the clarity of mind that allows you to walk a steady path and make progress without deviation. To protect that focus, limit the voices you allow into your world. When fewer distractions pull at your attention, you can stay on your true course. What would it look like if you applied this practice to your own life? Imagine starting a new project, a personal goal, or a creative endeavor, and telling no one about it. Imagine working quietly, steadily, without seeking validation. What might you achieve in the silence of your own dedication? How much further could you go without the weight of others' expectations? This is the heart of the practice, the freedom to work on your own terms, the wisdom to protect your vision until it is ready to be shared with the world. It's not about being secretive, it's about being intentional. As the Buddha reminds us, one moment of right mindfulness brings liberation. It's about recognizing the value of your energy, your focus, and your momentum, and choosing to use them with purpose, not to waste them on idle chatter or external approval. When you eventually reveal your work to the world, you will discover that your success has a weight to it. It is not merely something you announced, but something you built, piece by piece, through your own effort. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment, said the Buddha. The result will speak for itself, and the satisfaction of having created something of substance will be your true reward. Keeping your plans private is not about hiding. It is about preserving the delicate beginnings of your dreams. It is about nurturing them in the quiet of your focus until they are strong enough to stand on their own. It is recognizing that action is always more powerful than words, and that the fruits of your labor will speak far louder than any proclamation ever could. When you choose to keep your plans to yourself, you make a statement, not to the world, but to yourself. I trust my ability to see this through. I don't need applause to begin, and I don't need permission to pursue my goals. This confidence is rooted in a deep awareness of your own strength, and it will carry you through the inevitable trials that come. You will be free to act without fear, to learn from mistakes without judgment, and to grow at your own pace. And here's the beautiful part. When you succeed, others will be inspired, not by what you said you were going to do, but by what you have done. Your actions, as the Buddha teaches, are the true measure of a person. Your progress will serve as a beacon to others, showing them that real success comes not from talk, but from steady, mindful action. So, as you continue on your path, I challenge you to adopt this approach. The next time you set a goal, resist the urge to announce it. Instead, write it down, make a plan, and get to work. Let your actions do the talking, and let your results be your proof. Trust that when the time is right, the world will notice, and when they do, it will be because you have earned it. Remember, success does not need to shout. It grows quietly, steadily, in the moments when no one is watching. So, guard your dreams, nurture your focus, and let your actions speak for themselves. That is the path of true success, the path of mindful determination, and it is a path worth walking.